got the Jubilee going through these two 12s. They're EVs. This and this are the two Twinkle Lands, and they're open back. And then that's the dry Jubilee. And then the Marshall goes through the 68 basket weave, which used to belong to Paul Kossoff of Free.
Wow.
And we're running the Marshall with a variac on top because we need to run it at 110 volts. And otherwise it's going to go poof. Because they didn't have 120
yeah,
volts
yeah.
then, and I know you're on 240 over
yeah,
there,
yeah.
2240. So we're using our own power that we set up to have US voltages.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course we have the signature Joe Bonamassa clear sonic panels, which
I must have.
you know, after using them you get used to the way it cuts the highs, and stuff starts to sound harsh when, like, if I'm at home with my Marshall, I'm like, gonna have to see if Joe's got an extra one laying around. And it just keeps a balance so the sound man's not getting pelted unevenly, and so these poor people in the front
Come away with some hearing.
they come away with hearing, and their skin's still attached, you know. And if you want to step in the back,
Let's go.
the main Jubilee goes through a Palmer, and we tap the Palmer to get into the wedges for a monitor. And then I have a spare, and then on this shelf these are the two reverbs for the red and the black Van Wielden heads, and those go through a Twinkleator. These are both Van Wielden products, and that does something with the effects loop, a little boost preamp thing. And back here we have two spare amps in case everything goes really bad. I have a Jubilee ready to go, which I'll just pull the cables and put it in.
Yeah.
And then we have the Sewer SL68, which is kind of a Van Halen-ish plexi.
Yeah,
thing.
they're fantastic.
And so that's our backup for that plexi. And I thankfully haven't turned either on, and that's my
So
plan.
far this tour then.
Yeah, I love this amp myself because I'm a Van Halen nut.
Yeah.
So
Do they? I mean, in terms of things like valves and that, I'm assuming it's kind of just a case of when they go, or.
yeah, and we were just joking that you know, you read all these guys that are, oh, I had to bias this and all that, and we're like, we haven't changed a thing.
Yeah. Just stick them in and away
I
you go.
stick by my 1981 Jeff Beck interview and Guitar Player, where he said he had the same Marshall that he used with Rod Stewart, and the tubes were rusted into it. And I thought, well, you know, when everybody was falling for this groove tubes thing, I better buy groove tubes because they're matched. Well, I thought, well, these ones that came in my amp are awesome. I'll just
Yeah.
and
So if it isn't broke,
yeah,
don't fix it.
I had a 5150, and I thought I'd change the tubes. It's been 10 years. Changed the tubes, the amp sounded nothing like itself. So I went back to the original 1993 tubes. Still going, still working.
Yeah, I think there's always a little bit of a myth around kind of things like that.
Well, you know, if you're playing in battle conditions and doing this every day, you can't bring a full electronics shop. You know, we fix what we can. If something goes really bad, we ship it right out. Thankfully, in Britain, we could just go, oh, hello, Marshall.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's yeah,
But I just have a drawer here where I have some strings, and I do have valves in there. And I keep a spare Palmer in case either of these go or we're doing a fly gig. I can just throw this in the backpack, and we can always have a direct signal.
Yeah.
And then here's our acoustic rack, which we run the Kryptonite through.
Yeah.
And those Vintech custom shop preamp and a compressor.
Yeah.
Very basic sound, just trying to get it a little bit of air around it, really. And here we have a Victoria Golden Melody, which we use for the theremin. And also if we have a guest, like last night we had Bernie Marsden sit in, so we roll that out front, and it's a great vintage sounding combo.
It looks amazing as well.
It's got great tremolo, screaming reverb, like too much, which is what we want, more reverb. And speaking of which, here is that's the Diaz.
Everyone's favourite sound.
Yep, that's the Diaz reverb. You can get it from the front after, but that goes strictly into the Super PA. And you'll see the Super PA has the white back panel. This is one of the earliest 100-watt deals out there that's working, probably. And
So that's kind of always need to look after that one.
and I split the signal to the two Van Wielens with a Lele P split. which is a fantastic passive product that has a phase reversal and a ground lift.
Yeah.
So everybody, if you use more than 1 amp, you should always have that in your bag. And I have this rock.
Oh, the essence of the entire tone, I'm assuming.
This rock, I found it in Padova, Italy, in the parking lot. And that holds the plug, the 1/4-inch jack in the cab from blowing out. And everybody seems to love the rock. And usually this is more messy, but I knew you guys were coming.
Will we see a signature one of those?
A signature rock? if they can relic it just right, it would be awesome. And yeah, basically that's it. It's not really complicated. It's a lot of wires, and it's just I mark everything so it's color coded, or most of it's color coded. Usually, as soon as you mark it, the rig changes. Yeah. And we like to use the Snark clip-on tuner in a fast phase. They work great, and then we use the signature picks. Signature Jim Dunlop. They're Jazz 3, but they're in a Herco Gold, and we love these. Got the pick, you can just shred your head off with that. Yeah. And considering the style of music that Joe's known for, there's a lot of shredding going on, but it's not mindless, stuff. There's
thought to it.
There's a lot of thought to it and a lot of accuracy. That's one of the joys of working for him day in and day out.
I suppose with a rig such as that, it's not masters of game, so it's not hiding anything. It's all out there in the open.
There's no mistake eraser here. This is some, and the reverb's in there. That's a little mistake eraser. But generally, the rig works great every day, and it looks harder than it is. It's basically really 3 tones.
Excellent.
And you gotta love it. And
well, it sounded awesome. I'm extremely jealous.
And the rug, you gotta,
Well, where would you be without it?
You gotta have your rug. And yeah, and then on the theremin, I won't bother playing you any of my theremin compositions, but we just have a Boss DD3 again, and another RV5 set to stun.
Excellent.
And you get your whale sounds and your air raid sounds, and away you go.
Awesome. Well,
that's basically the whole operation. That we use Ernie Ball strings, and we have the signature Ernie Ball JB straps, and we use Klotz speaker cables, but these are Matthias Jobs from the Scorpions. That's his signature product. So all in all, it's a great, reliable rig, and we're just lucky we're in a position to have extra stuff, because I know there's guys out there who are, their amp blows and they're hoping that the guy in the other band has a Marshall too.
Well, I suppose when you work your way to kind of Joe's position, it's nice to kind of have all this gear and be able to plug it in. And
and that's the other thing is we don't want to sit around and just have stuff sitting in a warehouse.
Well, there's no point.
So that's why we change up the rig a lot, and we'll thin out the collection in order to get other stuff. If you own 15 Jubilees, you might only need 12.
Yeah. Well, if it's available at the end of the show, my car is parked around the back.
Yeah, they're great amps. We've just put them back into the rig after almost 6 or 7 months of not having one, and it's fun to have it back. And anything can show up here, though.
Excellent. Anything. Well, that was Matt from GAK with Mike here, and that was Joe Bonamassa's rig. I think you'll agree it's pretty damn amazing, really.
Yeah.
And cool. So we'll be hearing that later on, and we'll see you soon.
And we see you guys. You can all be gacking out.